Some call it the summer of love, some call it the summer of unbasic blushes. I think you know what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back everyone. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to unbasic your blush this summer. And I'm going to be giving you 5 of my favorite blushes right now that are more colorful. Now, if you know me, you might know that I call myself a bit of a basic baddie when it comes to makeup. I love pretty simple, quick and easy looks. But for me, on trend for summer is bright blushes, reds, oranges, bright pinks. So that is what I'm going to be going through today. And I feel like even doing a look like this where I just have one sparkly eyeshadow on, a little bit of liner and mascara, but then I have my bright poppy cheeks here. This is the trend. This is the makeup look that I'm doing for summer, and I am here to encourage you to bust out your bright, unbasic blushes this season. I will have all these products linked in my description box as well as the YouTube shopping button, and I really want to know, what is your favorite unbasic blush? And for me, when I say a basic blush, to me that's like, you know, a nude, a pink, something that's not like more bright or bold. So definitely drop your unbasic blushes in the comments. And I'm going to start off with a couple of pinks, because for me, when I think of an unbasic blush, my first thought went to this one from Dior, and this is the blush that I've had the longest in my collection. So this is the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow, and the shade is simply pink. And I will say, this started going viral a couple of years ago on social media, and I was seeing everybody talk about it. It was always sold out, and I was like, I don't know, man, that blush looks kind of intimidating, right? Like, it kind of looks a little bit too of like this neon-y bright shade in the pan. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna get along with this one. And one day I walked into a Sephora, and this blush, it was the last blush, it had just been restocked, it was sitting there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. And I bought it, and I have to say, while I still think this is not a basic blush, it isn't as intimidating on the cheeks as what I see in the pan, and that is something I've always said about this blush. The other thing that I've always said about this blush is this is one of my most long-wearing blushes in my collection. We all know that blush can be one of those makeup products that fade a little bit quicker on us. The Dior Rosy Glow blushes do not move. I've actually gone on to buy multiple shades of the Dior Rosy Glow blushes because I've been so impressed with the wear time. And since it is Dior and we have a little bit of higher price point for these blushes, I love knowing that when I put this on, I'm gonna get a long wearing blush. And again, for the shade, it definitely gives you that bright pop of pink without being like too stark. I was almost worried that it was gonna look like chalky on my skin tone, and for me, it does not. For me, it's one of my favorite blushes that I reach for, and it's also one of those blushes that I love to wear with a very simple eye look. Same for, you know, goes for all 5 of these blushes that I'm going to be discussing, but a very simple eye look and then a bright cheek. And I think that it is so, so pretty. I think especially going into summer, the bright cheeks are in right now. And then along the same lines in the pink family, I have from Tower 28, and these are their new Blur and Set Matte Powder Blushes. The particular shade that I've been loving is in Feliz Fresca. And I actually pulled this into my Shop My Stash bag for the month of June. So I do a Shop My Stash series every single month, and I pick out what is going to be in my monthly makeup bag. And I did mention for June, I'm actually in the process of moving. Yes, I've been trying to open this blush the entire time. It's the one thing I hate about these blushes is I can't open them. But I did mention that I'm moving in the month of June, and so when I was packing my makeup bag, I really wanted to put in all of my products that I really love for summer, because it might not be until the middle of July that I have my full, honestly probably the end of July, that I have my makeup collection organized and sorted again at my new place. So I was like, let me grab out what I am going to feel like comfortable, confident in, and that I really want to rock for the summer, because this might have to be my makeup bag for the next 2 months instead of just 1 month like I normally do with my Shop My Stash. But these ones from Tower 28, like, I love the basic color blushes as well. I think it's like Malibu Cooler. There's like a Long Island, like iced tea, I don't know, some assortment of those words. Those are really great blushes too. But again, since we are unbasicking our blushes, unbasicking for the summer, I really wanted to pull in Feliz Fresca because it gives such a nice pink pop. Now, I did wonder if it was going to be really similar to the Dior, but you can see in the swatch comparisons that it's really not. And the one from Tower 28 definitely gives more of a pop. It is a very bright pink. And another thing about the Tower 28 is that these are very pigmented blushes. The shade from Tower 28 is a Feliz Fresca. Just like, look at that. Now, I am gonna say that these blushes are extremely pigmented. So when you pop them on, you're gonna go, oh, blush. But they do blend out super smoothly. The Dior, I do feel like you can build up The Tower 28, I mean, once you tap your brush in, and you put it on your cheeks, it's going to be a lot, but they do blend out very easily. The powder is very smooth. This is a matte finish like it says, but it is going to be very pigmented when you put it on. So just be aware when you do that, you don't need to go overboard with these blushes. And I think that they also have a really great wear time. Again, I still think the Dior is going to be a longer wear time, but you do kind of have to spend more time to build this up. Whereas the Tower 28, you kind of get that instant payoff. And if you do need to like touch it up, you know, after a work day or something like that, it's gonna be really easy to pop it right back onto the cheeks again. So I've been very impressed with the Tower 28 blushes. I'm also gonna sneak an orange blush in here, and I will tell you, I'm not someone who wears orange blushes very often. Even when I try to unbasic my blushes and I just wanna pop like a red on or a bright pink, I often am not reaching for more of an orangey shade. But once I started trying this blush from Unearthly Cosmetics, this is one of their incandescent glowing blushes, and this one is in the shade Blaze. This was so funny because when I got this and I opened it up, I instantly was like, ooh. And I don't have that reaction a lot when it comes to orange blushes, but something about this one just called out to me, and it is so beautiful. So this one, like the name says, it is a bit more of a glowing blush. And again, when I first started wearing it, I was like, am I gonna look strange with orange cheeks? You know, because you're going back to like the basic baddie. I'm like, it's gonna be odd if I just have this like orange stripe on my face, but something about this blush just looks beautiful. It makes the cheeks pop. I was wearing this in my last PR haul video, and I have to say, like, as I was editing the video, I kept looking at my blush. And that doesn't happen super often, but I kept looking at my blush during the whole time I was in that video, and I thought, oh, this looks so good. And I was wearing Blaze from Unearthly Cosmetics. So if you are looking for an orange, if you want to step outside your comfort zone, or maybe you just love orange blushes in general and you're looking for a new one, definitely look into Blaze. And then we're just gonna finish it off in the red category. And I will say that I think I have been really tiptoeing more and more into reds as of lately. It was something about the winter months. I really felt like a red cheek just kind of gave that like, oh burr, I'm so cold, I'm in a snowstorm. I live in Las Vegas. I was actually just down at the Sphere right before I was filming this video, and it's 104 degrees and I was standing outside in the heat. So if I look a little bit like I was melting, I kind of was. I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of was. But something about the wintertime, I just thought the red blushes were so pretty, but then I never really phased out of that. Even as we got into the warmer months here, I still didn't let my red blushes go. I was gonna say glow, go. And when Rare Beauty launched their newest blushes, their matte bouncy blushes, I immediately gravitated toward the shade Grateful. It's actually what I'm wearing today. I think that it's so pretty. Once again, this is one of those blush shades that looks a little bit more like in the pan, but once you actually put it on and blend it out, I still think it gives this beautiful pop to the cheeks. And it's like, yes, I have a red cheek on and you can definitely see my blush, but it's not as like a stark, intense red as I thought that it was going to be. I also really enjoy this formula, how it says it's the bouncy matte. Like you can tell when you put your finger in, it kind of bounces back at you. And to me, people, because the Tower 28 and the Rare Beauty came out around the same time, I was getting asked, are they really similar to each other? The Tower 28 to me is more of like your matte powder blush, right? Because this one has that more bouncy, creamy formula, it almost feels like it has just a slight luminosity to it. It's not as glowy of a blush as the one from Unearthly Cosmetics or the one that I will talk about next, but it still is not just a like flat matte blush. Because I will say for me, sometimes I do like a little bit more of a glowy blush as well, or I like to pair it with a glowy bronzer or something along those lines. But these blushes from Rare Beauty, I know everyone loves the liquid blushes and they are such a popular product from Rare Beauty. I do like those, but these blushes are the ones that really stole the show for me from the brand. And then lastly, I'm gonna finish it up with another one in the red category. This is from Singe Beauty. This is one of their evocative blushes, and this one is in the shade Timid Tomato. Timid Tomato was funny when they launched the blushes in the 4 shades. This was the one that I gravitated towards right away. And again, I feel like it was just, I was already putting down the groundwork to unbasic my blushes. And then when this one came out, I was like, oh, I'm just so intrigued by it. Again, I'm gonna do a side-by-side comparisons of Grateful and Timid Tomato, and you can see that they are not really similar at all. Now, the Timid Tomato is a silk blush, so it does leave more of a glow without being like really shimmery or like super highlighty on the cheeks, but it's a nice, again, luminosity to this blush, and it leaves a really beautiful finish. And Timid Tomato has a very long wear time as well. I'm still gonna say that the longest wearing blush in my collection is still the one from Dior. And that's just been the case since I brought that into my collection. But Timid Tomato has an excellent wear time as well. And it's just a fun way to add a pop to my makeup look. Again, especially if I'm pairing it with a really simple eye look, which again, you don't have to, of course, but if you're someone like me and you gravitate towards more simple eye looks, a really fun way to unbasic your entire makeup look is just adding a bit of pop to the cheek. So those are the 5 blushes that I'm going to be wearing all summer long and how I'm going to unbasic my blushes this summer. Again, leave your favorite unbasic blushes in the comments. I hope you weren't playing a drinking game to the word unbasic. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.